Here's
We've got notes. We've got notes.
It's great looking over them because I was on the ride over pretty much to the T. I didn't know about the Bengals Ring of Honor, but yeah.
All right, here we are.
We're rolling.
We finally got it. We're only about 45 minutes late, so Alexa, stop. Man, that song is still badass.
Yes. Yes.
So, obviously, if you caught kind of our pre-show, warm-up show, we got some new equipment. We've got microphones. These things are sweet. Now, they were hard to set up.
Yep.
Because we're not real techies, but, we look a little bit
official, man.
Yeah.
So we definitely need some opinions.
So
from the audience, whoever's watching, how do we sound?
Yeah, is the sound better? Or do we sound better? The video, I mean, that kind of.
And we still look the same.
We do, but they can see my deep, raspy, voice come out. Like I am this. Yeah, this rocks.
We can take our radio voices.
That's it.
Yes, the Tom and Q show.
So anyway, we're here. It's week 11. Week 11, Tom and Q show, which the streak continues. Week 11 of our wives being asked but not showing up.
Yes, I loved
declining.
Coach Ayers last week of how many likes can we get to get them on potentially.
It's a thought.
It is a thought. I asked Jessica. She said zero. None. It's not happening.
Well, we'll have no
She's
problem.
No offense. I enjoy listening to you guys. So she's got good things to say, but she's just not, the type to put herself out there.
Right.
And that's okay.
But it's we talked about that last week. Is we never really were either.
No.
So once you do it, see, my fear would be like once they did it, they'd be like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, Tom, we got a lot of good stuff to share with the world.
Yes.
We would be doing
yes, you do.
the world an injustice by not talking.
So with that being said, they're not here. Okay, it's Thursday. We're 11:45, 45 minutes late. Obviously, I'd like to be a little bit more organized, but we're not. But we're doing the best.
Yeah, we're but we set the table for that and set the standard from the very first ride to Best Buy,
which is exactly why we went. Hooking up the mics was why I said let's just put this live and let people realize that we have no idea what we're doing.
So I've got a little philosophy. If I stare at something long enough, I'll figure it out. There's no inanimate object on this planet that will outsmart me. And, sometimes they give me a good run. But
So, no wives for 11 straight weeks. Another big topic, kind of one of our weekly topics was, speaking of disorganization, my current email count. So last week, 154,746 emails on my home screen. This week, 155,582.
So what was that last? 154?
154.76. So 54. So I'm averaging about 800 or 900.
Yeah.
She's popping up in there. So, that's kind of getting rid of some of our business, right? And the stuff that we do every week. But let's talk about last week. Wait, before we do that, let's play the game.
Let's
play the game.
Yeah. Let's get it going here.
We don't want to break up what we're talking about,
right?
To play the game. So 2004.
Hip hop. Do we even know hip hop in 04?
Yeah. We're cool enough.
Number 9. Number 9, hip hop, 04. So, I like that it stopped in 3 different areas of the board today. Usually it gravitates towards that country. So let's have a non-country.
So I know we're going to get dinged for this. Not that I really care. But Alexa, play Me, Myself, and I by Beyonce.
Here's Me, Myself, and I Radio Edit by Beyonce on Amazon Music.
It's probably still going to be too loud.
So, last week, man, was
awesome.
fantastic. Yeah, it was. So another follow-up special thanks to Coach Nick Ayers.
Yeah.
And what he brought to the show, just kind of the insight to let us see what goes on in the world of the teachers, just the tireless nights that they had. You know, I think it's worthy for the COVID experience that they had to endure, and it's you go on threads on Facebook and you see just parents jump on and shred schools, shred teachers, and it's just, we don't know what they have to deal with. Just like anyone in their profession, we don't know what that person deals with in their profession. But teachers, I've always been sympathetic, graded with a curve, unless I was a student, and I was not the greatest of students. But once I became a parent, it's, man, just, that's your kid you're sending them to. Like, invest in that teacher, because ultimately it benefits your kid. And I don't see the confusion with that.
What was amazing to me, right? Obviously, we have our local legends segment, right?
Yes.
And clearly, there was no better person to give the first, local legends award than Coach Nick Ayers.
Yeah.
I've never met the guy before. You had some interactions with him before, and you kind of said some stuff to me about him, and it was, you and I were both like, we got to do this.
Yep.
Right. And to get there, and remember I said to him, I said, how much time do you have? He goes, well, I got nothing. Then it was like, well, we usually run like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, that might be a little long for me.
Yeah.
And like we actually had to wrap up. And it was more for him than it was for us.
Yep.
But like he kept going, and everything he said was just like, it was just bang, bang, bang. You could definitely tell, like, if you're in that locker room, like, that's a dude that cares. And that's a dude that's a special person.
So us being from this side, we probably have a east side, west side bias to high school football.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, man, I put Nick Ayers against anybody in this city as far as passion and community and what he's setting out to do.
Right.
Anybody, any day.
Well, just the motivation factor, like, hey, we're going to get up, we're going to do this, and I've got a process, right? I've got a process, and that process, we're going to stick to that process because I know that process works.
Yes.
And when you come out, it's like making sausage, right? Nobody wants to know what goes into the sausage, but at the end of the day, what comes out?
What a great analogy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's true. And we put out a couple of small tidbits and stuff this morning kind of from that, talking about, we talked a lot about last week, so we won't dig into some of those details, but the two things that really stuck out to me were reinventing kids, which was kind of what you were just saying.
Yes.
Talking about whether it was a Zoom meeting, whether teaching them different ways to just survive and adapt, right?
Yes.
Not just the kids, but even the parents. So you're reinventing. I would take it a step further. You're probably reinventing families.
100%.
Like,
I agree with that.
Different.
I agree with that because to reinvent a kid, we as parents have to break the mold of what it normally took to raise a kid and say, hey, we got to intertwine this new concept in and just make it work.
Right.
Like you nailed it last week. We do the very best we can. And I don't know about you, but this is my first time through as a parent.
Yeah.
I've never done it before.
Right.
So, the first time, and you can only get so much counsel and advice because it's all different. But he had a lot to add with reinventing those kids and his, just to start from ground zero.
Yeah.
And get back to fundamentals. And when you get back to fundamentals and something else that he does, he's also certified with like strength and conditioning. So he went out to New York. So he's just a jack of all trades. But he's very knowledgeable of how the body functions. So when you're working with these kids that are laying around in bed or on a couch all day, that's why he was talking about posture is like, they're losing it.
You saying that, the one thing, when I was kind of going through and cutting up some video this morning, that it just, the different words and stuff he was using, right, in different ways.
Migrate.
Yes! Oh my God! Like, when he was talking about the steps that kids took every day at school.
Yeah.
And we didn't, what's hilarious about what you and I and what we do is, like, you had no idea I was going to go down that rabbit hole, that migrate, and I forget exactly how he put it. It was like
10 miles a week they lose in migration.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, that is just
That's a different way to look at it.
I was like, that is an interesting word right there. Like that to describe that specific circumstance. So like, I was like, but you leave and you're like, he's absolutely right.
Yeah. Yes.
Walking 2 miles a day. Now you're not. You're absolutely right. Migration is exactly what it is. You're stopping the migration.
Yep.
So that was part of it. The other part for me was, no abbreviation for appreciation. And I know myself, I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
As far as appreciation and being appreciative for things and really not shortchanging that. And it was simple. We made it simple, like the TY for thank you.
Yes.
And like we just don't have time to show whatever that appreciation might be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Funny, a past client of mine, we wrapped up a deal, and he said, and sometimes you can hear in people's voice, not sometimes, all the time you can hear authenticity.
Right.
And he looked at me, we shook hands, he said, hey man, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And it just sounded different, it hit different. So I go home to Audrey, who was in like 5th grade at the time or something, and I said, you know what, I think right now in my life, the greatest compliment is to tell someone you appreciate them,
right,
and mean it. So her ongoing joke now, it's like 4 years old. She's like, thanks, Dad. I appreciate you.
It's still going.
Can we go to a tropical cafe and get a smoothie? I appreciate you.
It is funny when you hear that stuff. Like, so that similar situation, a little different. I guess a little different. So Austin had baseball practice, and he's 11, and we got good friends or whatever on the team, and Nicole was doing something or whatever, and it's like we hadn't eaten yet, so it's like 8 o'clock, and they're on spring break this week, so it's like, what are we gonna do? Well, let's go to. Do you want to go to Game On, or do you want to go? Actually, him and I went to Quaker Steak.
All right.
And on our way home, I'm like, well, okay, we'll swing in there and go to Quaker Steak. So it's just him and I sitting there, right? And then we eat and whatever, wrap it up and get home. And as he's going to bed, he's like, good night, Dad, love you. Like, that's, for guys, that's hard enough already.
Sure.
Thanks for taking me to dinner. Like, it was one of those things. It was like, okay, that's that. And this was even before that, our conversations last week, but it was like that. Like, that was appreciation. You know what I mean? Like, it was, like, you could tell that meant something to him, which is cool. Anytime you can find that as a parent, let alone just as a person, that you can make somebody appreciate you or something that you did. Not that you're asking for thanks, because that's our biggest thing when you and I do certain things. It's never, we're not asking for thank you. We're not asking for any, what's the word I'm looking for? Any necessarily acknowledgement,
accolades.
Accolades, but those types of things in that conversation last week, like, those to me were like, man, like, that's really, really, really strong. Not just parenting takes, but just people takes.
Yes, 1,000,000% yes. And so part of the start of this show is you and I have been talking a little over a year about doing something, and we just got tired of saying it. So we're like, you know what, I'll see you Thursday. So we capitalized on a moment and on an impulse of doing something. And I think appreciation falls right into that category, because how many times somebody does something and you think of it and you just kind of in passing and we're almost numb to it.
Right.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hey, thanks. But to like actually stop and I think that's why it resonated so much with the gentleman, the past client, because we squared off and he looked right in my eyes and it was sincere, and it was just to take the time to mean it. I think we mean it, but it's almost kind of.
It's almost just part of your everyday thing. Yeah, even as a kid, right? Your parents are like, say please, say thank you.
Yeah.
You don't really know like what that is. It's just you just know you're supposed to say it.
Yes.
Right. At what age do you get to the point where it's like, oh, I actually, like, you know what? I really do appreciate that. Like, thank you.
Yes, I like to do that as well, especially with the girls. Yeah. It is highlight when they do something, and it goes a lot to what we're talking about with just like mannerisms and energy.
Right.
So she went to church with me Tuesday, because I'm going to a new church, and she went and she was meeting a lot of people that I've already met, and she stood up proper, had a clear, carried voice, looked right at them, and it's just like yes, like she gets it, like she understands how to address and talk to human beings. And when we walked out, I put my arm around her. I was like, kiddo, that was just the way you conducted yourself as far as a mature person. Yeah. Was just because you get so many kids now.
Well, here's a follow-up question.
No, chin up and talk up,
to
man.
What you said, because
I don't speak mumble.
And we'll go right down this rabbit hole. And I'm saying rabbit hole a lot for a reason. But so
for your brother.
Yeah. When you put your arm around her, did she turn around and say, "Shut up, Dad"?
No, they
because like it's hilarious to me, which is good, right? It protrudes this good picture of family, and
Yeah.
you know, and you know, we're not hiding anything. We're not perfect, you know, but our families are good. We're all good people. Nobody's, you know, but it's funny how like kids will treat mom and dad, and then they go out into the world and you're right by them and they say thank you. Like,
Yeah.
really? Like, which I'm proud of you for saying thank you, but like, you were telling me how stupid I was like 30 seconds ago. You know? Like,
yeah. And they know they're getting hugs from me. They know they're getting. I'm that dad,
Yeah.
man. I'm the dad. I'm not a hardened dad. You know, life circumstances, whatever. But no, they're getting hugs from me. We're silly. We dance in the grocery stores together. We skip, and you know, when Paige was little, like 3 little, we'd go to Kroger and they had a basically like the utility junction boxes,
Yeah.
like little circles, and so just to keep her occupied while Jessica was shopping, me and her would run from circle to circle. Dude, she's 19. We would still do that in a grocery store.
Right.
Like we'd see a circle and we'd race to it and stand on it, and it's like again, no shame, dance, sing, whatever. We'll just so with the arm around Audrey at the end, it's I think it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
They know Dad's
Yeah.
just a goofy dude. And
That's funny.
it's plenty of hugs.
So let's do it, and let's get to the next order of business. And if you aren't out there,
1994.
of 94, if you're out there listening to us or watching us or whatever, let us know. Give us a thumbs up if it sounds okay. Again, these are new mics. We've never had mics before. We've just kind of used
94 Rock 11.
the echo, you know. So if it's good and you like it, great. If it's not, you know, you feel we need to fix something, we'll certainly try. You know, this is kind of a step up for us, you know, in terms of equipment, you know, from the webcam and their their
Right.
thing and ours.
So we feel official. We just want to know if we sound and
Yeah.
look official.
Alexa, play Found Out About You by the Gin Blossoms.
Hmm.
Oh, no. Alexa, stop. You said 11, right?
Yes.
Ha. Alexa, play Fall Down by Toad the Wet Sprocket. Yeah. You know why I went ahead with that?
Yeah.
Because ever since 1994, whenever they came out, like, I don't really, like, their
I don't even know
music,
who they are.
their music fine, but, like, I freaking love the name Toad the Wet Sprocket. Like, how in the world and I don't even know, are they British? I know nothing about them other
I
than,
don't know.
like, they have one of the coolest rock names of all time. By coolest, I mean, like, lamest, but, like, it's like I'm one of those people that give me an A or give me an F, and that's totally on an F, and I'm okay with it.
Yes. So thanks to White Oak Productions and the creativity
Yes.
of this board that we stumble upon and get to introduce the world to Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah. In our opinion, which is ultimately what really matters on Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yes.
Like, whatever they play, which I remember this song from 94, but it would pop up like MTV when they actually played music videos. Like, it would pop up the Toad the Wet Sprocket, and then whatever, you know, it was like, and I remember then, like, who comes up with that name? Like, you got Metallica, you got Bon Jovi, and the Beatles,
Megadeth, Iron Maiden,
Led Zeppelin. You know
Toad
what?
the Wet Sprocket.
Toad the Wet Sprocket. Doesn't make any sense. So anyway, last week's show of the week, I mentioned Yellowstone.
Yep.
Okay. I finished it, and I believe they're coming out with the
Season 4.
season 4.
Yep.
Because I got to the end in the last one, and I won't spoil it for anybody if you haven't seen it. But I'm like, because I had watched like the 3 seasons like a lot over the last week and a half, and it was like I couldn't wait to get like whatever I was doing. I couldn't wait to have some downtime to
Yeah.
put it on. And then the last episode, I'm like, there's no more. Like there's no season 4. Like it was one of the best cliffhangers, and I've watched a lot of shows over the last year.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was one of the best cliffhangers ever for me. I was like, no, they need 4. Season 4 needs to start right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. So so that was mine from last week. But anyway, so shows of the week this week. What do you got?
So I was recommended to watch. It's on Apple TV. Ted Lasso.
Okay.
It's got Jason Sudeikis in it. So the
Good.
face you're making,
Yeah.
I made the same face.
Yeah.
He said, "Have you watched it?"
Yeah.
Never heard of it. So I YouTube a trailer, and I'm like, that looks pretty funny. Jason Sudeikis, I think, is a fantastic actor. So it is hilarious. It is probably 3 times each show. I laughed
Like
loud.
a good
Like,
belly laugh.
Didn't see that coming. Fantastic. So Sudeikis, who is Ted Lasso, is an American football coach for Wichita State.
Okay.
And they are the Division II national champs, and so it's kind of a spin-off of a Major League. So you get the rich owner who wants the team to tank, right? So there's a couple over in Europe that has their soccer program, and the husband passionately loves his soccer program, like it's his world. They get divorced. She inherits the program, and her goal is to sabotage the program because it's the one thing he loves, and she wants to just drive it into the ground. So she gets a coach that has no knowledge of soccer. So there's a show within a show, because I'm not a soccer guy.
So this guy was an American football coach.
Yes.
Okay. And I think you were going to say she hires him, this American football coach, to coach soccer. Okay.
Yeah, football.
Football. Yes.
So through the show, they kind of talk soccer lingo. So a pitch is a field.
Yeah.
Practice is training. A jersey is a kit, and just kind of his assistant is educating him on lingo.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny throughout. But hyper positive guy. I think they did a great job writing it, because there's some times that you watch it and you're laughing and you're like, whoa, that's a good point though. That's kind of deep. Ha 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 ha. Oh, so they do a great job, because his message throughout the season is overcome, persevere, but and get to know people. So when he first shows up, he gets to know the equipment guy, introduces himself, asks for the equipment guy's name, and the guy's like, nobody's ever asked my name.
Right.
And he's like, well, you're part of this organization, so you're as important as anybody. So he makes people, and then they try to sabotage the program, and they try to sabotage him, and just make him look awful and embarrass him. And the guy that's writing on him is just like, I had every intent to make you look like a fool, but you're an awesome guy.
Yeah.
So the same things that we talk about every week, be good, do good, comes shining through. Have integrity, just be a good person. Don't let the ways of the world alter your response to things. And you see everybody in the community, everybody in the city, they really fall in love with his character. Yeah. And his kids I guess they were professional soccer players. They just start playing harder for him because they are attracted to his integrity of a human being.
And it's, if you're talking about like going back to Coach Nick, right?
Yep.
Like, if you have that mentality and that personality, you can succeed at anything.
Anything in life.
I don't know a daggone thing about, I know a little bit about soccer, right?
Yes.
But if I had that motivation, right, and obviously those type of people they hire, getting off the script here a little, but they hire good people too, right?
Yes.
So you hire good people that know what they're talking about. You got the guy that's at the top that he's the motivator.
Yep.
Look at Nick Saban. Yeah, he knows a lot about football. But you know who else knows a lot about football?
His staff.
Everybody around him. That's why those guys fight so hard to get their staff paid so well.
Yeah.
Like they're the face, they're the motivation. I know that show was supposed to be funny, and we kind of took it down a different rabbit hole, but
you can't help. The writing is fantastic, and it goes that way. Yeah. It's such a great message.
No, and that
so get your 7-day subscription for free.
I was gonna say I don't think I have
watch it
Apple TV, but
I didn't either. So I subscribed to 7-day, watched it, and that was perfect. And it ends, so there's going to be a season 2.
That's good, because I'm going to make a confession here that I don't have a show of the week.
That's all right.
Because I was so wrapped up in finishing Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
That I never got around to
trying
anything else. So if you're out there, like, I am looking for another show, another episode, another something to kind of lock into.
Yeah, you would love Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Love it.
So I'm looking at, so again, we're going to get off topic here, but so I'm looking out my basement window. The show takes place most of the time in my basement. I'm looking out my basement window, and my neighbors are tossing a ball, and I saw the neighbor walking to the window. I thought we were going to get actual live audience there for a second. So show of the week. Show of the week is Ted Lasso on Apple TV. Check it out. Give us a full report. Also, give me some different perspective, right? So let's flip the script, and then I'll give you what my true show of the week was. Okay.
All right.
And I think you'll agree.
2000. That's when the world was supposed to crash because we didn't have things set up. Country.
Do you think what the millennium? That's what it was, right?
14. Yeah.
The millennium. Like, we're both big wrestling fans, or were at one point. I remember in 2000, like Chris Jericho came out like right before the millennium, and he had this countdown. It was like, beep, and he had like the sweetest music. It was like 2000's coming, it's gonna end, and then it didn't.
Right.
I did see something today though, and it's like way above my.
2000. Country 14.
14?
Yep.
Alexa, play "Praying for Daylight" by Rascal Flatts. We're probably gonna get dinged for this one too.
Praying for daylight.
But gosh, I was on Twitter, and Pat McAfee actually shared it, and it was talking about some type of. Again, we're gonna go way above our heads here,
Right.
right? But this is where the world has kind of went to. People have talked a lot about like UFOs. Do they exist? Whatever. And this was like. There's some type of atomic matter that is now forming to, like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, and I'm almost, for the show today, I almost read it, but I was like, I looked in the comments, and everybody in the comments was just like me, like, what is this? Like I'm not wasting my time with this.
Yes.
Which leads me to another thing that I thought was funny. This is kind of stolen, but, you have, obviously with the world the way it is, you have a lot of these truthers, right? And these people that have their conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ding right away. So you have this, I thought this was funny, and why nobody thought about this is hilarious. So you have these people that are these flat earthers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're all social distancing, why hasn't one of those flat earthers fallen off yet? Like, that's one of those, like, huh, good point.
Yeah.
Like, there's not enough room for 6. Or that, or you're drowned. Why did they drown?
Right.
You're either in the water, or you're on land, or you're falling somewhere.
Space out. That's hilarious.
So, getting back to my show of the week, right? The NCAA Tournament. The NCAA Tournament, for the teams that were in it, the two best teams all year ended up making it.
Yep.
Okay. UCLA put up a whale of a fight. Like,
yes.
To lose that game in
Kudos to
overtime,
you.
or the way they did, like, unbelievable.
Yep.
Never. Honestly, that was on a whim. Just, clearly luck, and just, I might as well have reached into a hat at that point and pulled them out. But
should have threw a little money at that.
You know who I am, right? I did do that. So, unfortunately, they ended up losing the game. I was just going to keep rolling with it. But so the tournament with Baylor and Gonzaga like not being perfect,
right?
Like, and Baylor coming out and just
with 76, Indiana was the last.
Whipping them, yeah, and I mean, whipping them.
It's
kudos
neat to see a team like that Baylor performance, and I didn't watch a lot of it, but I watched enough. Is all the cliches you can think of in sports that you could ever imagine, it kind of came out, and that team truly had the next gear.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they came out and it was. I mean, they were fresh and they were dialed in, focused on a mission, and it was just. I think Gonzaga was just like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was
and
unbelievable. It was from the word go. Like, it was from the jump. Like, right from the jump. I watch a lot of college basketball too, but I can't sit here and tell you that I watch a lot of West Coast college basketball with Gonzaga or Texas, and Baylor. But you watch the scores and you see highlights and you're like, Baylor's lost twice, Gonzaga hasn't lost any. Like, in my head before the tournament, I'm like, those two teams, they need to match up.
Yeah. So do we have a shift in college basketball? So we're Midwest. You drive through Indiana, there's a freaking goal on everybody's garage.
Yeah.
You're down on the East Coast, they're just, the Basketball Hall of Fame's in Massachusetts. It's just the mecca.
Well, the media in general.
Yeah.
So you have.
But this year, your Final Four in men were two West Coast teams, Texas team, and two Texas teams and two West Coast teams.
Right.
The girls' finals was a California team and an Arizona team. So all of college basketball this year, you had
it's
UConn
true.
and who else was in the East? But either way, they didn't make it to the finals.
Yeah.
So the final 8 teams on both sides was 6 of them were West.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy. I didn't even
which
think
is
about
weird
that.
to us.
Yeah.
We didn't have UC in, we didn't have Kentucky in, and your meccas of college basketball
Even
weren't in.
if you look geographical, right? If you look geographical, just in general, like from a perspective, you have a media perspective over here on the East Coast, right? Your news, everything,
100%.
like those
It's all
are
East Coast bias.
East Coast bias, right? And then your Hollywood, Hollywood elite, I don't know a better way to say it, kind of on the West Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this viewpoint here and this viewpoint here. And it's just weird that, like, talking about, like, even in, like, going to sports or basketball in general right now, like, East Coast gets covered all the time.
Yep.
West Coast, their 7 o'clock games start at 10 o'clock over here. So, like, we don't really see them. But on the flip side, the West Coast, like, our 7 o'clock games are 4 there. So they see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so neither here nor there. I just thought that was a different perspective.
Yeah, no, it's neat.
So my show of the week was the NCAA Tournament. So let's roll through, and we've got some more sports takes today.
Yeah, we're
It's
going
gotta
to
get
be sports heavy today.
And I think I'm looking to see if we even have
94 again.
some breaking news. And
Let's just go right to it.
should we just talk about that?
Yeah.
Because we got to cover it, right?
So what is going on in Price Hill? We got 94 hip hop,
So if you've checked the news,
number 13.
if you've checked the news, didn't we have that right? What did we have before?
I don't know.
We'll look it up.
So we got Jumanji on the west side of Cincinnati going on, from
Yes.
what I hear. I didn't know about it. You were up to date. I saw it on the way over. I saw all these memes popping up, and like, what is going on?
Alexa, play Willing to Forgive by Aretha Franklin.
Willing to Forgive by Aretha Franklin.
So does anybody know what's going on with these monkeys on the west side of Cincinnati?
Yes. So I get up this morning and I immediately turn on. I like Fox 19, but I turn on Fox 19 News, and they have their news breaks on the hour and at the half hour. So I'm like, I'm whatever, it was like 7:30, getting my coffee, whatever, looking through it, and like we have breaking news out of Price Hill, and I'm like, okay, like there's kind of your expectations in certain things, kind of what are they going to say, what is it, and they were like, we have monkeys on the loose. There's 5 monkeys on the loose. I'm like, what? Like, it's like all of a sudden it's like before it could have been anything. We had car break-ins, we had murders, thefts, we had all these different things. I would have blown right past that, and then we're like, we have 5 monkeys on the loose. What? And it's like, yeah, and so like apparently from a private, I don't know what you call it, but private collection,
Yeah.
right? Somehow these monkeys got out, and it was near West 8th and Enright.
Okay.
Okay. So the news that I was watching, they were the reporter, and I don't know how familiar you are with Delhi. I spent 5 years kind of traveling, these roads in college. But the news reporter was at St. Joseph's Cemetery, and that was probably 2 hours ago, where their last reported sighting.
Right.
And so when you got here, you asked me, so what's going on the west side of town? And monkeys are on the loose. It's unbelievable.
And we're gonna have lunch there, out of Cleves, Warsaw, right?
No, we're not going to be there.
Okay, it's not that far.
No, we'll be in Harrison soon,
Okay.
right? So I know what you're talking about. There's two different places.
Okay.
So it took me back, if you remember, quite a few years ago, where down in I don't know if it was Sedamsville or wherever, where they have all of the meat packing places, and they bring in the cows and the pigs and everything down. I guess it's off.
I know where you're talking about.
Kind of down near Clifton, I guess, where there was a cow that got loose, and they had to bring helicopters and all these things to try to find. And this cow was on the loose for a couple of days, I feel like.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before so if you have a funeral today at St. Joseph's Cemetery, It's not going to be canceled due to COVID. It's going to be canceled due to monkeys.
Yes.
And I haven't seen what type of monkeys they are. I know the police department is involved. I'm hoping the zoo.
I hope so.
Is
I
involved.
hope so. To take the serious twist on it, it's, we got some bad runs in the state of Ohio with the gorilla Harambe or whatever.
Oh yes.
It's like, let's not have another one of those. I remember. I mean, it was probably in the '90s, I think, when up in Zanesville, some dude tried to have his own zoo, and like,
Yeah.
30, 40 tigers got out and some lions, and the only way they could catch them was kill them.
Yeah.
And it's not to get too serious on it, but it is a serious matter. Hopefully they can get the zoo involved and some trained professionals involved, and if it's tranquilizers or whatever, that the owner can communicate with these things to take everybody in and
I didn't think about Harambe. It's so good.
We're not laughing at it, guys. It's all fresh to us, so we're taking it all in.
I like everybody else, wish Harambe was still here.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to get controversial on this. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just going to speak common sense.
Yeah.
How do you let your kid get in the gorilla cage? Like, I get it, right?
Yeah.
They had to do what they had to do. But your kid was in the gorilla cage. How do you lose 5 monkeys?
So I saw a meme that made me laugh. It was like April of 2021. It shows some monkeys in a tree.
Yes.
And it's like September of 20. So it goes in the future, and it shows like Planet of the Apes. Like monkeys are just taking over. So there was a
That's a good
monkey.
meme.
Yeah.
You should put that video. Remember, because I showed you that video.
Yes.
Like they should follow. How many monkeys jumping on the bed? How many monkeys up in a tree? 5. There's 5. So we've answered the question as to how many are there. There's 5.
You had one monkey just watching the owner, taking it all in, just sitting up in the corner. The alpha monkey. It's our time, guys. We're out of here.
Like Madagascar. Yes. Guys,
Cincinnati is ours.
we gotta
guys.
go. We gotta go.
Just-
Now's the time.
Just smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave.
So if you are on the west side of town, in Price Hill, take a look, and if you see the monkeys, shoot video. Have your phone ready.
Yeah.
West 8th and right. I don't know how fast monkeys travel. Right.
I mean,
No idea.
yeah.
Hopefully traffic stays away. I was also like, it's, I don't know how you get into those rabbit holes, right? Where it's like a string of news, like, and you just kind of get sucked into it.
Yes.
So like, I was the same way. Like, I literally was watching, like, I left the news on while I was working this morning for a whole hour, and it was the same stories over and over and over again. I just wanted an update
On the
monkeys.
Fair enough, though.
Can we get a live report from Price Hill or from a police officer, somebody that knows what's going on with the 5 monkeys hanging
Jumping
in a
on the
tree?
bed.
Yes. You can go to Twitter right now, but going to Twitter right now, which is good. You're hearing about. Let's flip this because we'll go to our next topic too,
Yeah.
as we kind of, are scrolling through. But so there's big news all over the place. The city of Cincinnati right now, short of St. Joe's Cemetery, is the place to be.
1986.
Is the place to be when you're talking about
Country.
talking about sports right now. Who would have thought that 2 weeks ago?
16. Yeah, I like a little competitive passion and fire.
Oh, yeah.
I do like when people conduct themselves in a manner that's respectable, but at the same time, I think every team needs a little bit of ugly in it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of sass and a little bit of and it seems like the majority of the Reds lineup right now is on a level of confidence that is just something I don't know. I know we had the wire-to-wire team, and I know we remember them, but I don't know how vividly we remember them. But I can't think of a spunky team like this that we've ever had.
Well, Alexa, play "There's No Stopping Your Heart" by Marie Osmond. Donnie and Marie.
There's no stopping your heart.
And it's early. That's what I'm just so nervous about. We're 6 games in, and we're like, World Series.
So I'm gonna hit
Let's
this.
pump the brakes.
I'm gonna hit this twice.
Let's enjoy it.
But because here's why. Here's exactly why. We're gonna go back to Price Hill. Back to Price Hill.
Okay.
There was one guy that put that into this city.
Can we say Charlie Hustle?
It's because of Peter Edward Rose.
Yep.
Did what he did, and the city fell in love with that team, that man, in the way he played the game, to where almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Our expectations when you play for the Cincinnati Reds
Was all out.
Explain, dead serious. Ryan Friel, rest in peace, Ryan Friel. But who didn't love Ryan Friel?
I had lunch with a great friend of mine, and he was talking about who's the kid that flexed on the pitcher. What's his last name? The player.
Was it Derek Dietrich?
No.
Just now, Castellanos.
Yeah, Castellanos. So I don't follow the Reds as much as I used to.
You're just upset because he's not with the Cubs anymore.
Yeah, and my buddy yesterday is like, yeah, you would really like him because he's like Pete Rose or like a Chris Sabo. And I was like,
Except he drops bombs.
Exactly. And it's kind of what you said is just that gritty, 100% effort all the time. I loved watching Sabo. He turned so many singles into doubles just out of pure effort and determination.
And we could go down a whole different path talking about, so let's reset the stage. Okay, reset the stage this week. They're playing the Cardinals. And I'm a giant Reds fan. I've always been a Reds fan. So the Reds in the 2009, 10, really for like 5 or 6 years were extremely competitive.
Yep.
Making the playoffs year in, year out. But they could never get over that Cardinal hump. And it was always like they were the big bully, whether it was Pujols, whether it was Yadier Molina.
Yeah.
It was just so frustrating. You knew if the game was close or tied. I specifically remember one year where it was like the Reds are beating the Cardinals, I want to say by 3. The bases are loaded. There's 2 outs, and Pujols is up. I could have shut my car door right at that point, walked away, and knew exactly what the headline was going to be tomorrow. And that's exactly what happened. It was like the Cardinals had no fear of what of the Reds. And there was nothing more awesome to sit there and, just his attitude in general. Like, I'm a huge, sportsmanship guy, right?
Yep.
But in the same sense, I'm also a huge stick up for what's right guy.
Yeah.
But also I like humor too. Like that stuff makes me laugh.
Yep.
So he gets hit, takes it. He's not happy about it, but who would be happy? 95 miles an hour, shoulder, rib cage, wherever it is. I mean, that's going to hurt, right?
Yes.
So he gets hit. Molina walks over. He's like, no, I'm fine. He wasn't happy.
Yes.
So he goes over, he picks the ball up. And it looks like he's going to flip it back into the dugout. And he looks at the pitcher and goes, do you want this back?
Yeah.
And then he flipped it in the dugout. So then he gets all the way around. Wild pitch, he goes to score. The pitcher covers home plate. Puts a knee in his back, a little rough, whatever. Probably not on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think it was. It looked.
But the fact of the matter is they had this confrontation, which I do believe he got hit on purpose.
Well, see, I did too, but until the pitch that brought him home was equally as wild. So it's like, well, if that got away.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to, you clearly didn't want to throw the wild pitch there, obviously.
Right.
But
it got away. So could it have gotten away? Yes.
In that heat of the moment, you're both kind of heading for the same spot, right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, you don't really know what's going to happen. But you just had this confrontation, and guess what? He's safe. I'm getting up, and I'm going to mean mug you too. And then he mean mugged him, and he walked off.
Yeah.
And then that jackhole, Molina, came out of nowhere, and he's the one again that started the fracas.
Yes.
Because it would have ended right then and been over. Instead,
Yes.
he started that, and then Reds go on to win, and they haven't looked back since.
No.
So,
well, they're flexing on everybody right
everybody.
now.
And who knows how long it's going to last.
Right.
But, it is so much fun in this town to be the bully and have a winner like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because we are so used to even going to, I saw people, even though Mick Cronin is out in UCLA, blaming that loss on the Cincinnati curse. That's where we're at. Between Bengals, Reds, Bearcats, Xavier, name your team, that's where we're at.
Yes.
And, to be able to just kind of, okay, let's ride this wave and just enjoy it because yeah, I'm kind of that like, okay, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next? But watching the last 2 days, like, hey, it's better be 5-1 than it's 1-5.
100%, and just have some excitement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, and I think it was Votto made the comment that he just wants to have a team full of some bat flipping fools, man.
Yeah, no, it's Garrett.
Garrett, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Garrett, he's not afraid of a fight.
No.
Which
He's
and I love that's.
And I think of Trevor Bauer, like, what is he thinking now? Because like his personality, oh man, you just think he's like a caged animal. Like, can I go back to Cincinnati?
So
that team is what I want to be.
Okay,
on.
so here's a plug. So I follow him on Twitter.
Okay.
And the day after that, he has his own show on YouTube.
All right.
So dead serious. Go subscribe to Trevor Bauer's YouTube. He does baseball stuff. He does other stuff, but he really breaks down certain things on a different level.
Yeah.
On a very entertaining level, right? So he broke down. It's like 20 minutes of that 2-minute, 3-minute snippet of from the time Castellanos got hit to the time he scored.
Yep.
To where he gives his thoughts. It's intentional. This wasn't intentional. This was blah blah blah, and he's like, he basically said that like, I got in a fight my first year in Cincinnati, or before I came. Then I came to Cincinnati, no fights. I leave, fight. Like where? He's like, where? Where was this? When I was there.
Yeah.
And but he's that. I think a lot of that is that swagger that he brought here, even though he was here for a year and a half.
Carried over.
That impact that he made on those guys that are playing right now is tremendous.
Yeah.
Like, I wish he would have been here, but I get it. Like, he got paid way more than they can do it. And I bet you he wishes that if he had his druthers, that if money was all equal,
he'd still be here.
He'd still be here. Because I feel like he was just so... It's a shame that there weren't fans last year.
Right.
To get to experience...
How dominant he was.
And just that, again, we in Cincinnati, when we are good at something, like, to be a bully, like, we don't get that experience. Like, Von Bell hitting Juju Smith. Like, even though our team sucks, like, we're going to grab this small victory right here.
Right.
You know what? You keep running your mouth, I'm knocking you out. There, we just knocked you out.
Yep.
Cardinals, you keep running your mouth, I'm going to knock you out. There, we just knocked you out. And since then, like, the Reds have scored 57 runs.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't have mustered up 4 or 5 in the playoffs
I don't know
last
that
year.
they scored 57 last year combined.
So it's just it's crazy, man. But so that's kind of the Reds. Let's play again, and we'll talk a little news about and a little more news, sports news. And we try not to be entirely sports, but there's just a lot of stuff going on.
1996.
I love 96. That's our favorite year.
Top 40. 12. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, and everybody knows I'm a Cubs fan, but I do have local ties, and I do cheer for.
Alexa, play everything by. Oh no, Alexa, stop. Alexa, play "Missing" by Everything But the Girl.
Still not. Was it Toad Sprocket with a?
Can we just get like 1 or 2 words?
Yeah, I'm a Cubs fan, but locally, I love to see the local teams because I got so many friends that are so passionate about it, and it's cool to see everybody happy and enjoy it in all my years of retail.
What do we say? We're going chalk. She's not working very hard.
Yeah, we got 96 hip hop.
I'm just gonna go with this is what we need right here.
No, top 40 96. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Whatever.
So, Alexa, I'm just going to go with the number 1 song from 1996.
I like it.
Can you guess what it is?
Playing Billboard songs from 1996.
No. Hey, this one not 96.
Proof.
Oh, Macarena. Yeah, I guess it was. Wow.
You know what's funny? I didn't tell her to play this. She was still hanging on when I said the A word.
Yeah.
And I was talking to you about, I'm just going to play the top Billboard from 96. We're going to let this play.
All right.
So White Egg Productions is sponsoring the Billboard Hot 100 from 1996, your number one song. I wish I had a Casey Kasem voice. Number one song.
That sounded good.
Macarena. So if you're at home dancing, send video. So anyway, yes. So anyway, lots of sports news. So today, we're like up to date, right? We're up to date on what's going on. So today, it's kind of a slow sports day. The Reds don't play, right? Bengals season's not in. There's no basketball going on.
I'm all UMassed out today because they are playing in the Frozen Four.
Well, oh, that's awesome.
Hockey.
Yeah.
So they made it 2 years ago, made it to the finals, lost, and they fought back. And this year, it's funny because it's like Minnesota State, St. Cloud, Minnesota, and then Minnesota Duluth, and UMass.
Which is weird. You just don't
It's
hear
the Final Four.
You just don't hear about this because I know Miami, Ohio, they usually have a good hockey team. I know Michigan, they usually have a good hockey team. But to have some of those smaller schools, well, I say smaller, but I mean they're hockey-wise, they're probably not.
No, they're powerhouses out there, and like North Dakota is like the Roman Empire of college hockey, and then you got Colorado. So it's the sport of hockey is just culturally just it's northern, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota, North Dakota. You got Boston College, Boston University, I'm getting up to date a little bit on it more because just UMass and how successful they've been, and the interest that I have in the school, and you kind of follow the top 10, top 20, or they don't go to 25, but like top 15. So it's been neat to watch them back in the Frozen Four.
It's interesting. It's interesting for sure. The slow news day. And you're kind of following the monkeys, right, to see what's going on. In the last few days, I saw that Chad Ochocinco was in town. And then the rumor was this morning that the Bengals were going to unveil their new uniforms that they've got coming out. And he was going to be the one to do it.
Awesome.
And maybe that still happens. That was just kind of a Twitter rumor that was running wild. But then the Bengals came out, and it was rumored that they were going to have a Ring of Honor, something that for fans, like they've been clamoring for. One, because the team hasn't been very good. We need something to enjoy, right? So
some tradition.
And so today they announced that they confirmed, because there was that hidden picture, if you saw it on Twitter, of somebody that saw the names up there. And by the way, the Bengals, like their social media department, from where they were, the decrepit 2000s, to like, they are, if you follow them, they are always letting cats out of the bag. Like, it's just like snippet.
They do it on purpose.
No, I know. That's what's amazing to me. It's like, it's so cool. So anyway, they're doing it. And so they announced the first two today, which is Anthony Munoz, greatest lineman of all time.
Yep.
And Paul Brown, one of the
greatest coaches.
Yeah, and darn near an inventor of just football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like, you wouldn't have football without a guy like Paul Brown. We certainly wouldn't here. So, super exciting for that. We could go in and probably spend a lot of time talking about who would be there, who wouldn't.
Yeah.
We won't go down that path, but I just thought it's worthy of noting. There's going to be a Ring of Honor. It's going to have Munoz and Paul Brown. And honestly, if they stopped right there, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kenny Anderson, Boomer Esiason, people like that.
Well, even Chad Ochocinco, right? Or Chad Johnson. I'll call him Chad Johnson.
Right.
I get, his ultra ego. When you see him on Twitter, it's Ochocinco.
Yeah.
But, like, he's Chad Johnson.
Yep.
Right? And so, like, I've got my Chad Johnson, when I was,
Well, he, on Twitter, he asked Joe Burrows to lunch, told him where to meet or whatever.
Yeah. He brought him McDonald's. Yeah. So, like, this jersey, like, I've got over the years, I've gotten a lot of Bengals jerseys too. So, like, we typically wear our jerseys or whatever throughout the, during the show. So I was like, you know what? I just read this news. I saw him on Twitter. I'm putting my Ochocinco. So now, if we can just get the word out there to Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, the next time he's in town, maybe he can come down and do a show with us.
That'd be great.
I would buy the McDonald's.
Right.
The Big Macs. Whatever it is, the nuggets, whatever.
Guys, put the word out.
Put the word out. See if we can get that to him to come on.
Right.
I'll go pick him up. I'll pick him up. I'll ride my bike, pick him up. You ride on the back, around the handlebars all the way back. So
get the basket in the front of the bike, on the handlebars.
Me and Chad Johnson just riding
down
down
the pegs
75.
on the back.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then obviously this is not Cincinnati related, but it's kind of that cool part of the year where it's kind of a little bit back to normal. I don't watch a lot of golf.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I do. But I like this is the one that I usually do.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't see it, but we've kind of got the first round kind of up behind us or in front of us now that we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And golf to me was always boring to watch. It still is kind of boring to watch. But this particular tournament, the Masters, where it's played and just how cool it looks and how people treat it, being the first major of the year, they did it in November with COVID and everything, and now they're playing it back to a normal schedule. So it's like, and some fans I think are allowed back in. Like I'm all for watching normal stuff again.
Yes.
So, like, keep an eye on Sunday. Sunday's usually the best day, especially if it's close. It gets interesting. Or if you just want to take a nap. Sometimes it's really good to just nap and just watch. You sit there and you'll catch interest for a little bit, and then you'll fall asleep. But so that's going on. So NCAA tournament's over. Baseball season is here. Paige has played quite a few games.
Yeah, they've got some games under their belt now. They're navigating through. Jessica and I are heading to Philadelphia this weekend to watch them play St. Joseph's. So it'll be the first time to see her play in person, which we're excited.
Yeah.
She's holding it down defensively this year and making some adjustments on the other side of the plate. But the team, they just won 2 against Rhode Island Tuesday, and the second game they were down 6-1. So they only played 7 innings. So they were down, and Rhode Island, they played it at UMass, but the game was scheduled for played at Rhode Island. So on their home turf, Rhode Island was the home team because of the scheduling. So going into the 6th inning, they were down 6-1, and UMass fought back, put 11 runs on the board in 2 innings to pull out the win of 12-11. So those last 2 innings, both teams just went bananas and just started smoking the ball, and it was I couldn't watch it live, so I'm watching on like Gamecast.
Yeah.
And you just see
and
you're just like,
don't you love that? Like, and then it pauses, and you're like, what's going on?
So I love defense. I'm just passionate about great defensive plays, and so I'm watching Gamecast, and I see runners on second and third, and it was like 12-11, and then it glitched or whatever, and then I see runners on first and third, and I was like, dang it. I'm like, wait, the score hasn't changed. So I'm like refreshing. It's like, what is going on? I'm trying to read the thing, and it said Jules Shields from left field made the play at the plate.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. So again, I love defense, so I can't wait to talk to Paige. What exactly happened? So yeah, that's what happened. It was runners on second and third. Ball hit to left. She hosed it home. Got the girl out at the plate to preserve it didn't end the game there, but it kept it 12-11, and they came out and they got the final out of the game after that. But it's that's why I love defense. People love hitting, and it's great and all, but man.
So I had a similar experience yesterday, right? We talked a little bit about
Carson got a win, right?
Well, no. Kind of jumped the shark on me there. So yesterday was his first start for the JV team, right? He's come in, he's pitched really well, right? And well-deserved start. And so they're playing Hamilton, and first inning goes out 1-2-3, and is a pitcher stool. It's a pitcher stool. I mean, their pitcher was throwing really well. Carson was throwing really well, right? And like we jumped up on him 2-0 right away. They made a mistake. We had a big hit. We had started a mess. 2-0. He's dealing whatever. Wheels kind of fell off defensively a little bit there, but our center fielder comes up, makes a great play, hoses what would have been the go-ahead run at the plate in the third, so we're tied 2-2, and it stays 2-2. And in the 5th inning, Carson goes back out, and he's doing pretty well. Gets himself in big time trouble, right? Runner on third, nobody out. Gets out of that without anybody scoring, right? So it's like you're still 2-2. So like from my perspective, I'm sitting there, I'm like watching, like I like pitching and defense too, but when your kid is on the mound, like I want us to hit, because at this point, I'm like. And both of these guys, like I'm not kidding you, like they were like when Carson he came back, he kind of gutted up, went out in the 6th, shut him down. So we're 2-2 going to the top of the 7th. They play 7 innings, and he asked for the ball. Basically, as a coach, I would have probably pulled the ball from him at that point. But that's not second guessing their coach either. That's kid tells you want the ball, like it's very hard to tell him no.
Yeah.
So kind of kudos to both of those guys for that. So he takes the ball. He's facing the bottom of their lineup. The guy gets one off the end of the bat and hits a double to lead off the 7th inning. So he comes out. Well, the pitcher from Hamilton was on deck. So as Carson's walking off, that pitcher comes over and shakes his hand.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like kind of chill, like kind of gives you the chills a little bit about two guys that kind of understand what is going on. So, we get it?
I think so.
There we go. We're back. We lost. I don't know if we had
We lost it.
earthquake,
It was a little
laptop
battery's running low. Plug it in.
technical issues there. So that was my perspective, right? Like you're over here like wondering what's going on, and like I love pitching and I love defense, and like I thought I did until your kid needed an extra run or two, and you got two guys dealing. So no, I was super proud of him. He did a good job.
That's awesome.
So that was fun. So this, and we'll wrap up with this.
Yeah, we kind of got a heart out today for lunch.
We do. Yeah, we really do. So I have on my notes here, and this has kind of been hanging on for a couple of days. Okay, I said rabbit hole a lot today.
Yes, we say that a lot. Yes.
So this is going to be homework for the week. Homework for the week for you and for everybody there. I have noticed ever since Joe, my brother, called me out for saying rabbit hole, every time somebody says rabbit hole, whether it's on TV or whatever, like my rabbit ears have popped up. Like, why am I seeing...
No pun intended.
Why am I seeing rabbit hole pop up everywhere on TV? I've seen it written down in places. Like, why is this? So apparently, I started a trend.
Yes.
To where rabbit hole...
It's catching on.
It's catching on. Everybody is saying it.
Hashtag rabbit hole.
Hashtag rabbit hole. Actually, hashtag Tom and Q's rabbit hole. It won't take.
Hashtag Tom and Q. Hashtag rabbit hole.
So yeah, we do have a heart out today. We were a little late, but yeah, we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't see. We asked a few times at the beginning of the show. People kind of came and went on the show, which we appreciate all you guys. Still need to know how we sound.
Yeah.
So
the new mics. Give us some feedback, whether that's directly, indirectly, whatever, kind of how things are sounding on our end. I mean, it looks good from what I could see. I mean, these are sweet looking mics and kind of helping us kind of convert at some point maybe to a podcast form or do something along those lines as well. But give us feedback, take a look, listen to watch and see if you see the word or hear the word rabbit hole. I guarantee you will from this point forward, at least for a couple weeks. It'll catch your ear and you'll go, Tom was right. Much like UCLA, Tom was right.
Yes.
So
White Oak Productions, thank you guys. Local Legends, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Playing music from 1996 has been awesome.
Yes.
But it's time to go.
Peace.